Hello students, congratulations and a warm welcome to Standard 5. Today in this video, you will be listening to an English lesson, that is the white mice. Lesson number 1, the white mice. This lesson was authored by Ruskin Bond. The author spent most of his time at Dehradun, but now is settled down at Missouri. He is one of the best Indian story writers. People love listening to him or reading his stories. Now this story is about a young boy from Delhi who goes on a vacation to Dhera, where his uncle Ken and his grandfather lives. After the summer vacation is over, his uncle comes and puts him on a train. As the train moves on, the boy begins to realize that he has been put on the wrong train. So immediately what happens is he gets down at Lucknow and sends a telegram to his grandfather saying that he has been put on the wrong train. As soon as the grandfather hears that he has been put on the wrong train, he decides to come and pick him up at Lucknow. The boy sits and is waiting for his uncle. By the time, this boy happens to meet the station master. This station master decides to take this boy and keep him safe till his grandfather arrives. The station master is so kind that he invites the boy to his home. The home of the station master is just behind the railway station. The boy is taken to the station master's home. He is offered biscuits and milky tea. Later on, the station master takes him to a veranda behind the home and shows him a miniature station. Railway station. A miniature railway station is just a model of a railway station in a smaller size. This station had bungalows, railway bungalows. There were railway tracks. There was a railway platform. There were tunnels. There were mountains. There were valleys. And just besides the railway station, you could find a fair that was going on. You know, a fair. If you can picture a fair, you will find that a fair has a huge giant wheel. There were swings, there were slides, and the whole area was filled with lots and lots of white mice. The trains had mice crowded in it. The giant wheel, you could find the mice running around and sitting in the giant wheel. Everywhere you could find these mice. There were around 15 to 20 of them running around in that area. Suddenly Mr. Ghosh presses a button and the train starts moving. This small train moves and reaches the corner of a veranda and stops there. The narrator, that is the small boy, is so impressed by whatever he sees. After that, he sits down and feeds the white mice biscuits. Later on, he goes and sits on a huge armchair waiting for his grandfather to arrive. As he is waiting for his grandfather to arrive, he falls asleep. He falls asleep later on to wake up and find that his grandfather has already arrived and is speaking to Mr. Ghosh. Mr. Ghosh is showing his grandfather the miniature station. And the grandfather seems to be quite impressed by the railway train, but he seems to be giving more admiration to the white mice by saying that it has such delicate feet and such beautiful pink eyes. Later on, the grandfather takes the narrator and climbs on a train to go back to Dhera. As the train moves out of the station, Mr. Ghosh comes running with a cardboard box and places it into the narrator's hand, saying, "This is a present for you and your grandfather." The narrator thinks that this must be more rasgullas. Later, when he opens the lid of the cardboard box, he realizes that that box had two white mice sleeping on white cotton wool. He closes the lid and thinks that I will use this white mice to play a practical joke on his Uncle Ken. So they then reach Dhera and they have a nice meal. Slowly the narrator slips into this Uncle Ken's room and puts the white mice under the bedsheet of this Uncle Ken. Uncle Ken is not aware of anything that is happening around. Everybody goes to sleep. After some time, you will find that everybody were waken up by the screams of Uncle Ken. He came around and he started jumping around. They have described his jumping around as tap dance in the lesson. I'm sure you know what's tap dance. Tap dance is where you jump on your toes and your heels. You could find Uncle Ken jumping around and saying, I have some furry things under my bed sheet. They are filled in my room. The grandfather understood that this is a practical joke that his grandson is playing on his uncle. So immediately he winks his eye and tells the uncle, remove off your clothes. Uncle Ken is dusting himself and suddenly you will find that one of the mice runs into his sleeve and comes out of his shoulder from the collar side. He is so scared that he says, my room is filled with all these kind of mice, all kinds of colors like brown and red and white. I am not going back to the bedroom to sleep. I will go to the storeroom and I sleep on the sofa there. So Uncle Ken goes to the sofa and sleeps, and they enjoy this practical joke that was done on Uncle Ken. The next day, grandfather takes this narrator, puts him on the right train and is sending him off to Delhi. As the train moves out, the grandfather tells the narrator, I will take care of the mice very well. It was found out later on that the grandfather loved the mice so much that he even wrote a letter back to Mr. Ghosh saying, could you spare another pair of white mice for me? But then they found out that Mr. Ghosh had got transferred from there and was put into another state, and he had taken all his white mice along with him and they did not know where he had gone. This is all you have in the story about the white mice. Now from this lesson what you learn is it teaches us about practical jokes. You may have created practical jokes on people. Sometimes people love to have practical jokes being done on them. Sometimes it's dangerous, sometimes it's funny, and sometimes it's frightening as well. So this lesson is mostly about a practical joke that was done by this boy. Another thing what you learn from here is from the station master. We found out that he was very kind. He was kind enough to take care of the boy there and to keep him safe till his uncle came. Another thing what you learn from the narrator here is to be a little cautious and alert. Because he was alert and cautious, he found out that he was traveling on the wrong train. So this is all you learn from the lesson. Tomorrow I will be teaching you the difficult words and the meanings of these words from this lesson. Thank you.